I may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you. It protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
Food, it brings us together, inspires joy, and gives us life. But we can't forget that during this crisis, over 37 million people don't have access to nutritious food. That's 1 in 12 seniors and 1 in 7 children. In fact, millions of kids aren't able to receive a free or reduced price school lunch right now. The good thing is, we can all help. Learn how you can get involved at feedingamerica.org. When we help each other, we nourish ourselves, our families, and our communities.
may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you. It protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
The most human trait is to want to know why. And in a year that tested everyone around the world, why was searched more than ever.
The spread of the coronavirus has passed a significant milestone.
And while we didn't find all the answers, we kept asking. Some questions inspired joy, others excitement.
Life in the bubble.
You love me?
Yes.
You love me?
Yes.
You love me?
Yes.
I don't know what an improper fraction is.
Teachers should make $1 billion.
We found toilet tissue, y'all.
Oh my God.
Put it on there and start it up for me.
What are y'all doing? It's still March. How many days in March?
Some questions made us cry.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs. I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout. I love you guys.
Some made us worry about this spinning rock we call home.
Fires were detected in the Amazon rainforest.
Why were so many lives lost?
Almost 1.5 million people have now died of COVID-19 worldwide.
Why are we still asking the same questions?
George Floyd repeatedly told the officers that he could not breathe.
So why do we still have strength to continue?
I believe in your power. I believe in our power.
Chants of Black Lives Matter echoed from thousands of protesters in cities around the world.
Why are we not defeated?
We have made too much progress, and we are not going back. We are going forward.
Planes are starting to arrive in Beirut full of international aid.
Firefighters from around the world arriving in California. There are over 100 coronavirus vaccines in development worldwide.
This is one of those times when people look out for one another and have each other's backs.
We kept going for those who showed us the way.
Think about how you would like the world to be for your daughters and granddaughters.
Remember, the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. Press on with pride and press on with purpose.
Why is it that this year showed its worst and we still found ways to triumph?
An incredible feat for Maya Gabriera.
Naomi Osaka, U.S. Open Championship.
Can't let Corona stop you. Can't let quarantine stop you.
So until we get to every answer,
We gon' get it together somehow.
we're still searching.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you all. I have some new songs for you this time, and the first one just references the fact that wherever you are, God is, and if that is the case, then you are always standing on holy ground. It's one to get you going this morning, this year. Look down and see what was given to you and me. Right here we know the power that we hold to kindle the spark so we can light up the dark, show others the way, let them see a brand new day. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're standing on holy ground. Oh, oh, yeah. We're standing on holy. Woo. We're standing right here on holy, holy. We're standing on holy ground. Oh, 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 oh. Right where we are. Oh, yeah. We've traveled so far, 2020. And inside we know we've got so much further to go. Throw the past in the fire, throw it in the fire now, so we can grow higher. Look down and see, we are all that we need to be. 'Cause we're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. Sing it with me now. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah, now. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Inside, outside, we can really bring the fire with a perfect appointment. We can raise vibration high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all that we can be. We can lead humanity. Inside, outside, we can really bring the fire with a perfect appointment. We can raise vibration high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all that we can be. We can lead humanity. Oh, yeah, 'cause we're standing on holy. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, 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 now. We're standing on holy. Yes, we are. Yeah. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Keep singing with me now. We're standing on holy. Woo! We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, 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 yeah, now, yeah. We're standing on holy. Yes, we are. We're standing on holy now, yeah. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, we're standing on holy ground. That's right, wherever you are, God is.
Amen. Yes, thank you, Daniel, Kepel. Yes, God is everywhere present, so wherever we are is holy ground. Thank you, thank you. Great and glorious morning, everyone. For where we stand is holy ground. Again, thank you, and welcome to this first Sunday in the new year. And you know, we have to really bring up the energy because us 10 people here. So thank you, Daniel, for helping us to bring this energy in this room this morning for this first Sunday. And welcome, welcome. I am Reverend Cheryl McCullough. Thank you for sharing your love and light with us for this first Sunday, January 3rd. Thank you to our wonderful trio this morning for bringing us amazing grace this morning. Thank you for joining us as we bring you holy ground this morning. Whew! And join us after the service immediately for 15 minutes of our Reiki session. Immediately after service, we want you just to relax in your space as we bring you Reiki for this first Sunday in the new year. You won't be prompted, but just relax and receive the healing energy of Reiki. Relax in a meditative state. And we have a lot to bring you this week, as we always do. We start out this Wednesday, and it will be jam-packed. You know, we usually have called this a Wisdom Wednesday, and this week is no different. We start out at 7:30 with a morning prayer. And then we have Divine Connection with our wonderful Reverend Sylvia at 3 p.m. And then we end the evening at 7 p.m. with our Silent Unity prayer and meditation service. And then on Saturday, January 9th at 1 p.m. is our virtual vision board workshop. And it's going to be facilitated by our lay leader, DJ Lloyd, and his associate, Katrina Slade. And then beginning Monday, January 25th through Thursday, January 28th at 6:30 p.m. is our new member class and orientation. And this is for those who want to be a member of our wonderful spiritual community, but not just if you want to be a member, but if you want to know more about our spiritual community, or if you just want a refresher about Unity, you can also attend. So sign up online for this. We have a lot that we offer here at Unity of Washington, D.C., and we're still going strong in spite of the pandemic. Don't forget, please read the constant contacts that we send out to you. They are jam-packed with information about the various events that we offer here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube page. And that brings us to today. And I cannot stress enough that you need to take notes about this series that we have been offering, the Conscious Healing Series. And Reverend Sylvia comes to us this week with part 5, Feeling Fine, Emotional Healing. And as I said, if you have not been following it. It is on our YouTube page, and I recommend that you go back and you look at the series. Take notes because it's great. Reverend Sylvia, go with it.
Blessings. Thank you, my wonderful, wonderful Reverend sister, friend, Reverend Cheryl. And wonderful, thank you, Daniel, for bringing that rocking energy into the church, because it's true. Wherever we are, God is, and we have to know that all is well. And we're standing on holy ground, so I thank you for your energy and enthusiasm this morning. And of course, as always, my love to my wonderful rockin' wonderful trio. Thank you as well, always. I enjoyed that rendition this morning. And I have to give a shout out as well to two of our volunteers, our wonderful long-standing members who came in at the beginning of the month to decorate and beautify our sanctuary for the holiday season. And although you could not see all of it, those of us who are here, we got to enjoy the beauty, and it helped to put us in the spirit. And likewise, we needed to have someone take it down, and they came and did that as well. So I want to give a wonderful shout out to Scott Wallace and Michael Haley, my guys. Thank you so much for serving always and with love. You know, serving with a servant's heart, a loving heart. You know, not looking for anything in return or whatever, but just giving of yourselves to the utmost in service. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. And as always, I thank our AV team, our dedicated AV team who are here. Yes, as Reverend Cheryl said, the church is not filled with people, but it is filled with those souls who come to serve as well. And they are here every Sunday, making sure that we can present ourselves to you via the internet. So I thank you, those who are working the sound booth. I thank you, those who are downstairs unseen. Yes, let's give them some love. You know, because we have to honor our souls who come out and who serve to actually participate in the greater good. And I just wanted to make sure that you all understood that it takes a team and a village, and we're all in this together. So here we are. I hope you had a wonderful beginning of the new year, a New Year's Eve service, and thank you if you attended our New Year's Eve service online. And as Reverend Cheryl said, we're doing everything that we ordinarily would do. We're just doing it online. And the benefit and the blessing is that we're reaching more people. We're putting the unity energy out there in a greater fashion so we can no longer be the best kept secret in town. So I thank you if you have joined in and brought your family and friends also, because we're here for you. And I can hardly believe that already that we are in 3 days into the new year. You know, we're on our way already, and now it begins. And the question I asked during the New Year's Eve service is, are you ready to get it done in 2021? Are you ready to get it done? Because now is the time. This is the time that we have been given to do what is ours to do. Whatever it is, this is the time to fulfill your dreams, to fulfill your wishes. Do not think, oh my gosh, we're in a pandemic, we can't do anything. Yes, this is the time to make that internal commitment, to take the time to go within to see what it is that the divine is asking of you, what it is that your soul has been saying you wanted to do for these many years. This is the time to get it done in 2021. Or this is the time to be the one in 21. Because we are the change that we've been seeking. We're the ones who will bring the light. We are the ones who are going to do a great work. We are the ones. And if this is true, then we have to make sure that we are going to be able to bring our whole and complete selves to this process, to this undertaking. We're going to have to make sure that we are standing on not only holy ground, but solid ground, so that we can move forward in a way that is exciting and helpful and on point and on purpose. We want to make sure that we are feeling within ourselves a sense of completeness, that we are truly operating at our optimal best, our optimal level. We've been working with a series that I have titled Conscious Healing. Conscious healing. And I thought those are two powerful states of being, conscious and healed or healing. And they're combined. When we are conscious, meaning we are aware, we are awake, we are alert, we are very present to what is happening in our lives. We are conscious. And combined with healing, meaning that we are at one. We have a sense of wholeness, and we are whole and well, and we're operating on all four cylinders. Now, the four cylinders that I'm speaking of is that we're operating on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level of being, because those are the components that make up how we exist upon the earth. We're physical beings, we're mental beings, we're emotional beings, and we are spiritual beings. And we want to make sure that we are operating on all four cylinders, right? Now, what I've been noticing is that we've already covered the physical and mental aspects. And again, let me just say this, that we barely just scratched the surface on those categories. Because I could speak volumes and volumes, anybody could, on each category alone. But what I wanted to do was just to give us a cursory view to highlight the importance of our ability to function in these four domains and the necessity of doing it to the best of our ability so that we can bring our whole and complete selves, right? And to be able to be conscious, a conscious participator, a conscious co-creator of our lives and affairs, to be actively involved in our growth, actively participating in our success, or the ability to live our best life now. Regardless of a pandemic, we can be living our best life now. Now, when I say that phrase, living your best life now, most of the time we have a tendency to believe that in order for me to be able to live my best life, it might have to do something with me having a lot of money, or maybe it might have something to do with how many niceties I have, you know, whether I have a nice house, a nice car, or it might have to do with how many good things I've been able to acquire, lots of things, you know. And having all of that is nice. It is nice. But I'll tell you this, it is not a guarantee that you will be living your best life. It's not a guarantee that you're going to feel a sense of fulfillment, right? Why? Because as I've been saying for these many years, life is an inner journey. It's an inner journey. It's an inside job. And the true measure of one's happiness or one's sense of success and well-being doesn't come from outer things. It doesn't really come from the material plane, but it comes from the quality of our inner state. Our inner state. It's about, do you feel happy or successful or content or at peace? Do you feel accomplished or fulfilled in your own being? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel good about your relationships and your interactions with others? Do you feel good about your life in general? Because we all know that people can have lots of things, a big house, a big car, lots of money, and still not feel whole and well, not feel fulfilled and satisfied, not feel that they are enough, not feel successful, not feel loved, all of that. So the quality of one's life is related to the quality of your inner state. Your inner state. How are you feeling about your life? Now, our emotional or our feeling state of being plays a very key role in our sense of what I call reality. Your emotional state, your feeling state, plays a significant role in how you are sensing or perceiving or experiencing your reality. You see, you can think a whole lot of stuff, and most of the time we do because the mind is always active. You can think a lot of stuff, but if you don't feel it, it is not going to be your reality. That's what happens when sometimes people are practicing using affirmations and they just say it by rote, but they don't feel it. It doesn't become your reality. You can think it, but if you don't feel it, it will not be so for you. And this is the thing that I like to say, is that your head can talk a good game, but your feelings will tell you the truth. Right? And not the truth about the situation, but your feelings will tell you the truth about what is going on inside of you. You can say all you want here and there in the outer, but your feelings are going to tell you the truth about where you are and what you truly believe. Talk is cheap, but what do you feel? That's the truth. That will tell you the truth. Your feelings and your emotions, and I'm using them somewhat interchangeably. But your feelings and your emotions are interesting because they can hijack your mental and physical and maybe even your spiritual state of being. Your feelings can hijack your thoughts. Now, here's the thing. Your feelings should be secondary to your thoughts. Your thoughts are primary, and they should induce a feeling. But when your feelings are out of control or not balanced, they will hijack your thoughts. Have you ever been in an emotional state where you can't think straight? Right? All of a sudden, you just got so much energy that forget being rational, you become irrational. You're just moving on impulse, right? So your feelings can hijack your thoughts. They are also something that can be conscious and they can be unconscious. You could have conscious feelings and they operate also unconsciously. For example, I'll give you an example. Usually, if you're upset, sometimes you'll get upset and you know that you're upset and you're angry, or you know that something has disturbed you, or you know that you got hurt, or you know that you're not quite right with something. Sometimes you are very much aware of that and you know it, right? Your feelings got hurt and you know you're hurt, or you're upset or you're angry, somebody did something, and you know, okay, this don't feel good, this is not right with me. But then there are those times when we are totally unconscious of our feelings. We are unconscious of our feelings, and we have no clue as to our emotional state. And it's all kind of unconscious, right? I'll give you an example. Let me have a little sip of water. Thank you. The elixir of life. So sometimes our feelings can be unconscious, and I'll give you an example. As I am moving through this experience with the pandemic like everybody else, I believe that I am handling it very well. I am saying to myself that I think that I'm fine. I feel that, you know, I'm able to continue to do what is mine to do. I'm feeling fine. And yet, lately, I've noticed that I seem to have tension headaches. I've been having headaches now for about 2 weeks. And I couldn't figure out, and I still am not totally clear on the exact cause, or can I pinpoint exactly what is causing these tension headaches. And so, but I do know that somehow or another that my unconscious emotions or feelings of anxiety and stress are signaling, they're sending a signal to my body. I'm not aware, but my body has been signaled that something is going on, and this is what will happen. If we are unaware of whatever emotional states that we are experiencing, that's fine, but that emotion is going to send a signal. Of course, if it's allowed to go unaddressed and unattended and unaware for so long, it has to get our attention, so it's going to send a signal. It'll send a signal to your body. It might send a signal to how you're relating to people. So all of a sudden, my body's getting this signal that I've got tension. I've got tension in my head. I've got tension in my neck. I feel, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, okay, I need to be aware something is amiss. Maybe I'm not as fine as I thought I was. Maybe all the things that I think I'm doing, I could do a little differently, or they need to be done a little differently. Remember, all 4 of these categories, your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level, they interact with each other, and they impact each other, and they can influence each other. So even though I think my mental state is good, apparently something is going on in the emotional state that's signaling to the physical state, wait a minute, something's amiss here. Because I'm noticing I've got tension, and I've got tension that's coming out in the form of headaches, a tension headache. Our thoughts can generate emotions, which is what the process should be, but our emotions, if they're hijacking our thoughts, can then affect our thoughts, cut us off for our thoughts. Our feelings can be amplified to the point where we get triggered, and we're not sure what's going on. And all of this, of course, can affect the body, and it can even affect our spiritual understanding. It can affect how we express ourselves. We might be calm and, easygoing, and you find yourself snapping at people or being a little on edge, or somebody, especially if you've been in the house with people that you've, for a year that you haven't had any reprieve from, your spouses, your children, or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, so it's affecting how we're communicating. It's affecting our relationships. It might even be affecting how we are able to focus, whether we can focus our mind to focus on doing a task, or how we're working, or whether or not we can relax, whether or not we feel a sense of ease, or whether we feel that we're balanced. All of this can take place within our emotional state and have an effect on the other areas of our lives, if we're not aware of it. And even if we are aware of it, how are we going to handle it and process it and give these emotions a healthy way to express themselves? We've all heard this statement that stress can be a silent killer. Have you heard that? Stress can be a silent killer. And you know me, I'm a wordsmith, so I was moved. Well, why don't you look up the definition of stress? Now, I know the definition of stress, but I always like to look up the meaning in the dictionary, because for me, it always has a metaphysical implication, and I can use that. So I decided to look up the word stress, and there were 2 things. The first thing said that it is pressure or tension exerted on a material object. So, stress can be pressure or tension exerted on a material object. You can have pressure, right, on a material thing, and we are material beings too, so there can be some pressure on us. But this is the other definition that I really like, and it says that it is a state. Stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. A state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. And we certainly have some interesting circumstances that are making demands on our way of being, that are taking us outside of our sense of normalcy, right? So there's a little bit of stress. And then it gives this book that I used. Actually, it was on, I used my phone and I Google things. But this is also what it gave. It said, here are some words that are similar. And these are the words for stress: strain, pressure, tension, worry, anxiety, nervousness, trouble, difficulty, trauma, suffering, pain, grief, and hassle. I thought, wow. We could probably pick out 2 or 3 of those things and say that we've had an opportunity this past year to experience those, right? And then those are the words it gave that was similar to the word stress. And then it gave the opposite. And this is the word it gave: relaxation. It didn't have, for stress it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different words that were similar. And the opposite was one word: relaxation. And I love that, because it said, for all that other stuff that's going on, if we learn the art of relaxation, it could help to heal any one of those conditions. Now, of course, we would do some other things, but it showed the importance of letting go. You know, I talked in my New Year's Eve service of just releasing, letting go. And one of the things that I was working on, this sutra that came to me. There are two things that came to me in my meditation for this new year that I need to work on, and I want to, and I'm choosing to work on, that will help to keep me in a sense of balance. And one was this, did I tell you all about the sutra on New Year's Eve that I was using? A sutra is a spiritual teaching. And when I go to India, I have books and reams of spiritual teachings that they gave. And they give them in the form of a sutra. And a sutra is something you're supposed to meditate on, work. It's a teaching that you're supposed to really get into and bring it alive in your being. So I belong to several prayer groups and meditation groups. And one of the groups, it was my turn to lead. And in this group, we kind of go over things. We either lead a meditation or introduce a new idea or thought. So I said, let me go to my books and I'll open up and see what it is. And this was the sutra that came, that I opened up to. And it's odd, but it makes great sense. And it has a deep meaning for our emotional well-being. And it said this is the sutra. It is necessary to die every moment to everything. For without death, there can be no creation, no freedom, and no joy. Now, when I first opened, I said, why did you pick that one, Spirit? But it was great for the New Year's message because it says it is necessary to die every moment to everything. Now, what do you think happens when we die every moment to everything? We're more present, right? We have the fullness of our energy. We're not hung up on the past. We're not using our energy as what happened and who did what. We are dying. We are letting go of everything every moment. You have the experience, you release it. You have the opportunity, you let it go. But what we have a tendency to do is we have the experience and then we keep having it. We have it over and over and over again. We think it again and again and again. And we talked about this in our discussion on our mental wellness, about how to deal with those repetitive thoughts. But we have these emotions. Repetitive thoughts also produce repetitive emotions and feelings. And so to die to everything, every moment, and Paul said it this way, the Apostle Paul said, I die daily. This one says, okay, die momently to everything. Be present. Be in the fullness of life right here and right now. Don't worry about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen. Don't fret about the past. Don't worry about the future. Let it go. Let it go. So actually, life is a sense of releasing and letting go. And that will keep you emotionally open, available, and free. You see, not hung up. And that's why it says, without death, there can be no creation. You can't create when you're working on the past or the future. Creation takes place right here and right now, in this now moment. Freedom is here when you keep letting go, letting go, letting go. Joy takes place when you're constantly present and you let go. Very powerful sutra. So this whole concept of stress, it's like, let me just relax. And to relax is, let me let everything go and be. Let me be present to what is. Because if you can imagine the effect of the emotions and thoughts can have on our body and our minds, and if we experience them, these limited experiences and limited thoughts, and if you have them over a period of time, And especially if you are unaware that you are having these emotions and these feelings and this state of being, and you're repeating it and you're witnessing it and re-feeling it. Oh, that's what resentment is. You keep re-feeling it over and over again, and you allow these feelings to go unchecked. It'll wear and tear you down. Listen to what Charles Fillmore, that masterful metaphysician, co-founder of Unity, says this about the word emotion. Next week we'll go deeper into feelings, but he says this about emotion. He says emotion can be undisciplined or uncontrolled forces. Undisciplined, there's more, but I want to harp on this for a minute. Undisciplined and uncontrolled forces. So when I hear the word a force, what that makes me feel is that there's some energy, some movement or energy that is either acting upon me or acting within me. It's a force. And when I hear the word force, I think of some kind of movement, right? Some kind of energy that is movement. And I came up with this definition for myself of what emotion is, relating as it relates to a force or movement. Emotion is inner motion. When you're having an emotional response, there's an inner motion or movement of thoughts and feeling, a movement of energy that is taking place within. That's our emotions. And when we have our emotions that are uncontrolled and undisciplined, they certainly will have a deep effect on us, right? We can be hijacked. We're out of control. The emotions are not disciplined. And there's a movement that has an effect now. Now it's affecting and acting upon my being, acting upon my thoughts and my feeling, my physical being, even my spiritual sense of well-being. I might even be disconnected from God because I'm so caught up in this movement that is limiting my expression and feeling of the truth. Emotions are not necessarily bad to have, because they are part of our humanity, right? We need emotion. They are part of our humanity. They're part of our makeup. We are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual beings. So there's not a bad thing to have emotions. They are part of who we are. They allow us to make deep connections, right? They allow us to have compassion, to be able to feel. They can move us to do good things. We're moved to do good things. They can touch the heart and move us in that heart level. There's an example. Whenever there's a particular commercial on TV, and it's a commercial for, I think it's the ASPCA, and they are wanting people, of course, to donate, but they show a picture of all these dogs who are suffering in the freezing cold, and they're shivering, and they look hungry, and something about seeing that moves me. It touches me. And while I've even donated, it moved me to give, to do a good act. I also know I can't look at it for a long time. So when it comes on, I put the TV thing down and I look away because it's too painful for me. Because I can't do anything. And part of me says, stop filming that animal and get him some some food, some shelter, But they look so pitiful, and the soulfulness in their eyes, that moves me. It moves me. So our feelings are good when they move us to do good, when they move us to greater compassion, when they move us for deeper connection. They move us toward that which is, ultimately good and pleasant and beautiful. The challenge comes is when, as Mr. Fillmore says, that they are undisciplined or uncontrolled, right? Or when we are out of control, right? We know that, we can be out of control with our feelings and our emotions. When all of a sudden our feelings or our emotions are acting upon us, right? They're having an effect upon us in a limited way or a negative way. For example, all of us get angry and upset from time to time. Anybody here never been angry? No, we get angry from time to time, and we'll get upset. It's natural. It's a natural thing. However, when that anger is undisciplined and uncontrolled, it can turn into what? Rage, right? It can turn in, it's not that you're driving along, what do they call it? Road rage. Somebody does a simple act, but that anger is moving beyond the rationality of your mind, and people do crazy things. They follow you home or follow you to the next thing, and they give you all kinds of visual symbols, all kinds of things. But it's a rage. When anger is uncontrolled, it can turn into rage. And then when we are enraged, we're certainly then filled with a lot of energy, because when you have rage, there's an energy that comes from it. We're now filled with energy, right? Energy in the body, and it can then move us. It moves through the mind, it moves through our being, and we become out of control if it's unchecked. And we all know people who are what I call like rageaholics. Anybody know a rageaholic? We all know people who are what we might even call drama queens, where they always got something going on. If you say how you doing, they don't like the way you said how you doing. You did it this way, and they're all upset about that, right? We all know people who don't know how to process their emotions, and they're continually and constantly mad at everything. They're just negative people. You don't want to be around them, right? I'm dealing with a soul now who is a rageaholic, and people say, "Why don't you get away?" I can't get away because it's a family, it's a relative, and so there you go. But I am figuring out how to move beyond that rage. I cannot control the rage that they are expressing, but I have to look at, now, what is that rage doing in me? Is it calling for rage in me? Because when I read all this stuff that keeps coming, I feel, right, my emotions getting triggered. Then all of a sudden it's like, because it don't take a minute, like, okay, and I want to fire back. All of a sudden there's an energy in me that I can respond to. When they say somebody does something or says something, you say, it made me hot. Boy, that burned me up. Because there's an energy that rage induces, or that an emotion can do, that actually surges through the body. And the key is for us to be able to pay attention to when we are experiencing that. Because I know when somebody says something, there are times I just let it go. And then there are times when it triggers. And all of a sudden, whoop, my energy is up. As I like to say, that Brooklyn wants to come out at that point, And I have to, if I'm alert and I'm conscious, I can stop my response. But I feel that my body has been triggered, right, by the emotion. And I feel that, that fire, that urge, that rage, that incense, whatever it is. And sometimes it's not controllable, and I say what I maybe have to pray about after. Or I do something that, I'm not happy with after. But in that moment, I was allowing that emotion to hijack my rational being, my ability to be calm and centered, to respond as opposed to reacting. And we all have that. This is our time to really look at ourselves. So I want to finish what he says about emotion. He says that it is also subnormal or supernormal activity. Subnormal, which I was talking about, it's unconscious or superconscious. It could be a spiritual movement towards something good. But it's subconscious or superconscious activity of mental or physical forces. And then he says, excitement of the feelings. So an emotion is excitement of your feeling nature. It is, and then is what he said, it is found that for each bad emotion, there is a corresponding chemical change in the tissues of the body that is life-depressing and poisonous. I want to read that again. It is found that for each bad emotions, and I won't say bad, I like to say limited, but this is Mr. Fillmore's words. He says, it is found that for each bad emotion, there is a corresponding chemical change in the tissues of the body that is life-depressing and poisonous. And contrary-wise, he says, every good emotion makes a life-promoting change. Thus, it follows that it pays to think good thoughts and do good acts for one's own sake. And we know this to be true. This is already documented scientifically, that when we are in a state, an emotional state of fight or flight or whatever, we do produce chemicals. Now, some of the chemicals, some of that energy gets us to move, and it's a protective energy. We need that. If the dinosaur's chasing you, you need that energy to run. Okay? But sometimes we don't need all of that energy that we're producing in the body that comes from a negative thought or an emotion, an over-the-top emotion. Because what it does is produces a chemical that begins to destroy and break down the physical body. This is why stress is a silent killer. It releases certain chemicals that wear us down and tear us down physically, as well as emotionally and even spiritually, right? So, and mentally. So, but likewise, there's that energy of being able to use a positive emotion, a positive thought that actually then builds up. So then we have, when we're doing something pleasant and good, it releases what? Endorphins that actually add to the body and build up our immune system and build up everything. Negativity weakens your immune system, your physical being. Positively strengthens and adds life to your life. It adds vitality. So it's very important for us to understand. And so what I'm suggesting is that we need to practice taking our emotional intelligence temperature. Take your emotional temperature often, especially during this time when, it can be unseen or our emotions can be unacknowledged or just unconscious. So we need to practice taking our emotional temperature. And so what I've begun doing is stop often throughout your day or through an experience and ask yourself these 4 key questions. What is my inner state right now? See, because most of this time, it's all happening, but we're not conscious to even our own self. We're not conscious to what's taking place. So stop and say, what is my emotional state right now? And try to pinpoint that. Or you can ask, what is it that I am feeling right now? Especially if there's a trigger or you note that, what am I feeling right now? Begin to identify your feelings, and we'll talk more about that next week. But what am I feeling right now? And then, what is my body doing right now? What is my body doing? Is it a pit in my stomach? Is there anxiety there? My shoulders, what is my body doing? Am I shaking? Am I nervous? Do I have tremors? I have a headache? What is my body doing right now? What is it signaling to me? And then the 4th question is, if you discover what the body is doing, notice, is there tension anywhere physically? Is there tension in my body? Because I recognize I have, I have these tension headaches, but I've noticed that, when I take my temperature, I take it often, because I'm recognizing now that I am carrying stress in my head, my neck, and my shoulders. That I'm actually like this, and I don't even realize that my body is tense, and I have to now give myself soften. So, and next thing you know, I'm up here again, soften. And it's so quick and it's so unconscious until wait a minute, I'm holding, relax. So I've made it a practice that every few moments I have to tune in and ask, here I am again. It's so quick, so deep, here I am again. Let me just relax. Let me soften. So the softening that I use, that's a great technique for me, and it really has been helping me, and I'm doing it quite often, right? Because I want to then consciously move my energy in my body. When I see that it's stuck and I'm actually literally feeling stiff and I'm feeling stuck, and it's like, oh my God, the energy is stuck. The stress is right here. Just relax. Not here. Relax. Soften. So ask your body where you carry it. Maybe you carrying it in your stomach or your knees or your back. People when your back is hurting, your sciatica, whatever it is, ask where the stress is signaling you in your physical being, and then you can take some steps. Remember, I also said, do some conscious breathing. This is how we're talking about moving the energy. Emotion is inner energy, the movement of inner energy, and it gets stuck. We want to move it and keep it flowing. So you can do some conscious breathing. often enough so I remember, oh, I'm not breathing, I'm not doing breathing. And remember, I talked about breathing a couple of sessions ago, a couple of weeks ago. And so maybe at the top of every hour, stop and do some conscious breathing. So one of the techniques that I've learned from India is to do a quick breathing, and I'm going to show it to you. It's called a mudra. And you can just do this maybe at the top of every hour. Stop and bring release and relief to your physical body, an opportunity to release your emotions. So this is a mudra that you can do, a breathing mudra. You want to take your thumb, take your pinky and your whatever finger this one is, and hold it down like that, and you have your thumb. And this is going to be alternate breathing, right? So you take your thumb and press it down. Let's start with the right nostril. Press your right nostril down, and you have your ring finger and your index finger free. And take a breath into the left nostril. And once you breathe in, close your left nostril. Well, you can alternate. So you can breathe in, and then close your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril. Now inhale again through the right nostril, close it with the thumb, and exhale through your left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril, hold it, close it off, and exhale through the right. Inhale, close it. Exhale through the left. Inhale again. Close it. Exhale through the right. Do this breathing technique. It is an ancient technique. There are several breathing mudras we can do, but this is a simple one, and it will begin to shift your literal energy in your body and bring you to a place of calm, of centeredness. It brings deep oxygen to the body, but spiritually it begins to open you up. You can always do that. I suggested during our Divine Connections one time, practice EFT, or what's called tapping. It's EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. I'm not going to go into that one deeply because it's a long process, but it involves tapping several points, locations of the body, right? And there's certain things that you do, and you'll tap. And what they say is that here's a definition of how it works for tapping. It says EFT, and you can go online and figure out there are 8 points that you tap, and it's powerful. And it says EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. It is an alternative treatment for physical pain and emotional distress. It is also referred to as tapping or psychological acupressure. People who use this technique believe tapping the body can create a balance in your energy system or treat pain. Now, I'm not sure why it works. I know that I have done it, and it does work for me. I'm going to suggest, right now we're looking at all these different ways. This is about conscious healing, bringing the things to our mind to do that we can keep ourselves whole and well. So conscious healing, ENT. So if you find yourself stuck, if I find myself stuck in an emotional state or I'm feeling distressed, I will do the tapping, and it releases it. It relieves it, it releases it, it causes a shift in the body. Maybe do some Tai Chi. Learn to do some Tai Chi or practice gentle movements, or just begin to stretch the body. The object is to allow this energy, this emotional energy, this inner movement of energy that might get stuck in your physical being and in your mental being as well, to give it a place to move, to give it a place to express that's healthy and balanced and brings you back into balance. So maybe practicing some Tai Chi or stretching, doing some basic simple things, raising your arms, stretching them back, getting air into the oxygen, turning, twisting so that the pressure that gets built up in certain points of the body gets released. You don't have to go to Gold's Gym and do all of that. You can take the time to free the energy in your physical being that is stored up from emotional, unacknowledged emotional energy that gets stored physically and even gets stored mentally. It'll free you up. Find some exercises to do to free your mind again, walking it out, See, finding the ways in which you can do. So we're going to talk a little bit next week about identifying our feelings, because most of us don't have good names for our feelings. We're either mad, angry or mad, or happy or sad. But there are a range of feelings that once we begin to learn how to identify them, that can also help. I don't have to be angry, maybe I'm just annoyed, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that effects next week, and if we have time, we're going to move into understanding the two basic emotions, because it's been said that the two basic emotions are love and fear. So we'll talk about that in the future, but in the meantime, keep it moving. This is the year to get it done in 2021, but we've got to be physically healthy, mentally strong, emotionally healthy, and spiritually on point. So let's keep it moving. Blessings and namaste. Yes, Daniel, you are up.
And thank you for the message. That's fantastic. And while you're learning to relax and doing all those things, you can go to Daniel Kepel Music and listen to my relaxing violin music. Or if you're getting to feel like you're an expert, maybe the more relaxing violin music. This next song, I felt like I was writing for my kids as I was writing it. Turns out it was really a message for me, so as these things always are. So this is my song, Live a Life, which fits perfectly. Live a life of wholeness. Live a life for good. Look into our souls for forgiveness, just like we know we should. Help those in misery, deepen our hearts to care. Look to lift each other up, find a way to share. Know that we provide the goodness. We are the ones of peace. Listen with our entirety. Take the time to teach. Look inside to find the bliss. Spend time each day in gratitude. Dig deep to find the joy. Know that you control your attitude. Every day find peace and stillness. It's so much better to be calm. Remember above all else, first let's do no harm. Oh, live for everyone. Release the worries and the sorrow. We only have a little time. Love like there's no tomorrow.
Live a life. I love that. I love that. I love that. Daniel, we got to get you out there in all the Unity churches, and it's all of a sudden Spirit just said, make sure that we get you to maybe one of our Eastern Region conferences or something, because I love the music that you bring, and that was perfect. Don't you love when the divine brings the perfect music for the message, and we don't coordinate it? It's all done by God. That was lovely. Thank you so much. Yes, live a life. Live your best life now. So let's take a moment and just see if we can touch that inner core, because we're standing on holy ground. Every breath we take is the breath of God. It's the breath of life, filling our bodies, our minds, our hearts. So I'm going to invite you to engage in this process. Normally we would sing our opening song, but I just want to move right into the energy field that has been created for us. That vibration that is touching the heart. Opening our emotions to the goodness of life and the goodness of God. So breathe deeply and let go completely. Release. This is why it's so important to exhale twice as long as you have inhaled. For there's the letting go, the releasing to create the space for being, the beingness of God. So we inhale and we hold it for just a moment, and then we exhale fully, letting the body relax. and savor the healing energy. Soften the body. Oh, thank you, for even a brief moment of stillness can bring such a peace. Even a brief moment of conscious awareness can comfort and soothe our thoughts, our emotions, and bring us into alignment so that we are physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually whole and well. It is well with my soul, with my awareness, with my consciousness. So give thanks unto God, for God is good. Breathe in the goodness. Feel the gratitude. Feel the sacred love, divine love. Feel the peace. Feel the quiet joy. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you for the good. And thank you, beloved ones, for who you are, for who you be, for who you are, and what you share and do, especially with this wonderful ministry. I'm so grateful for you and for the gifts that you bring, your spiritual energy and light, your consciousness. And I'm grateful even for the physical resources that you share in the giving of your tithes and your offerings and the commitment in which you do so. It touches me deeply. It touches me deeply to know that although we are not here physically, we are so connected to one another. And I'm grateful for everything that you share. And for those of you who are perhaps visiting us for the first time, you can check out the sources and the resources for giving at the end of this internet sharing. And we lovingly receive. You can go onto our website and give in any fashion that feels right and comfortable for you. But I give you my gratitude. I give you my love and my deep, deep appreciation. Because we're going to get it done in 2021. So, beloved ones, thank you so much. And until next time, keep it moving. Because I'm feeling fine. So it is. Let there be peace on earth